Life has this weird way of teaching us its deepest lessons through the things we have to release. It's like we show up thinking success means collecting stuff, achievements, relationships, status, symbols, only to discover that real maturity is measured by how gracefully we can let things go. Think about it. We spent our early years frantically gathering education, career milestones, partners, possessions. We're taught that accumulation equals success. But then, life starts doing what life does best, changing the rules on us. And suddenly, we're faced with this counterintuitive truth. Our growth isn't about what we can hold on to, but what we can release with grace. This letting go business isn't some passive giving up. It's actually an active process that takes real courage. It's this delicate dance between holding on onto hope while releasing our grip on how we thought things should unfold. It's learning to say, this isn't what I expected, but I'm open to what comes next. And let me tell you, that's where the real magic happens. So what exactly are you letting go of? Well, pretty much everything at some point. Let's break it out. Relationships are a big one. We're walking around with ghosts of connections past, right? People who were once the main characters in our stories suddenly become beautiful but distant memories. That person you thought grow old with, that friend who felt like family. Sometimes they exit our lives, either gradually or suddenly, and we're left standing there, holding space that used to be filled with their presence. Then there's the dreams we release. Those cherished versions we carried for years that no longer align with who we've become. They're like old clothes that looked amazing in the store, but don't quite fit anymore. Maybe you wanted to be a rock star, but found your rhythm in teaching instead. Or perhaps that city you were desperate to conquer doesn't feel like home anymore. We also let go of outdated versions of ourselves. Those identities we clung to with such certainty in our youth. The quote-unquote "I'll never be the type of person who ... declarations that eventually turn into, well, actually, I'm kind of ... realizations. The carefully crafted 5-year plans that life gently or sometimes roughly redirects. And perhaps most importantly, we let go of our assumptions about time itself. That seemingly endless stretch of someday we thought we had gradually reveals itself to be finite and precious. The quote-unquote "I'll do it later" turns into "why didn't I do it then?" faster than any one of us expect. But here's where the real wisdom shows up. Strength isn't found in our ability to prevent loss or change. That's a fool's game, and the universe has a lot more experience than we do. No, real strength lies in our capacity to remain soft and receptive in a world that regularly challenges our vulnerability. It's easy to be worse after we've been hurt. Anyone can close off after disappointment. The path of least resistance is to protect ourselves, to swear we'll never be caught off guard again. But with courage, that manifests not in building those impenetrable walls, but in maintaining an open heart despite knowing it may be bruised again. It's about continuing to love deeply, dream boldly, and showing up authentically, even when experience has taught us that nothing is guaranteed. Think about that for a second. The toughest people you know aren't the ones who never get knocked out. They're the ones who get back up, dust themselves off, and somehow still lead with their hearts. They're the ones who've been through hell but still believe in heaven. They're the ones who've been broken but choose to remain open. That's not just strength, that's superpower. This journey of constant adaptation and release isn't about becoming hardened or cynical. When life keeps throwing curveballs, it's so easy to say, "That's it, I'm done. No more vulnerability for me." But that's not where growth lives. Instead, true evolution comes from developing what I like to call a resilient tenderness. This amazing capacity to remain open while also being grounded in your own worth. It's the kind of strength that allows us to embrace new beginnings, even as we honor endings, to trust again after disappointment, and to recognize that change, however painful, often carries the seeds of growth. Think about a time when something ended in your life, maybe a relationship, a job, or a dream. In the moment, it probably felt like your world was crashing down. But looking back now, can you see how that ending created space for something new? Can you recognize how that chapter closing allowed you to turn the page to something that turned out to be exactly what you needed? The most powerful form of strength isn't found in never losing or letting go, but in how we choose to remain open to life's possibilities, even after we've experienced its uncertainties. In this way, every goodbye becomes not just an ending, but a door opening to who we might become next. Here's the deal, straight up. Life's gonna keep taking stuff away from you. People, plans, certainties, and time. That's not pessimism. That's just the nature of existence. We're all on borrowed time with borrowed blessings. But the magic isn't in holding on tighter. It's learning how to open your hands and trust the free fall. The badass move isn't avoiding pain or loss. It's keeping your heart soft when everything is telling you to harden up. The real pros know that every ending is just clearing space for whatever wild, unexpected thing is coming next. So yeah, cry when you need to, scream if it helps, but keep your heart open. Because the alternative, closing yourself off, means you're done growing. What's the point of this whole ride if we're not evolving? Remember, we're all just works in progress anyway. Beautiful, messy, unfinished masterpieces figuring it out as we go. None of us has this completely figured out. We're all practicing the art of letting go in our own ways at our own pace. The journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about becoming a little more graceful with each release, a little more trusting with each ending, a little more open despite every reason to close down. So whatever you're holding on to that no longer serves you, a relationship that's run its course, a dream that needs reimagining, an identity that's too small for who you're becoming. Maybe today is the day to start loosening your grip. Not because you're giving up, but because you're making space for what's next. So let go of what isn't meant so that you can be ready for what's meant for you.